For the past 2 decades, American Airlines Center has been home to some of Dallas's most iconic athletes. Dirk Nowitzki, Mike Modano, Luka Doncic. Athletes that receive millions upon millions of dollars. Despite getting paid those millions and the expenses that go into building the stadium, probably one of the bigger expenses is the name on the stadium. American Airlines Center. Many stadiums across the country have also adopted this model, putting sponsorships on the names of their arena. Most recently, Staples Center, changing their name to Crypto.com Arena, shocking the NBA world. We asked sports marketing experts what this change could mean for stadium naming rights as a whole. It's a name for some sports fans that is as well known as the team mascot.
Right now is definitely the hottest naming rights market that we've ever seen in the history of North American sports.
Stadium naming rights have become as common as the fans in the arena. Different brands are paying millions of dollars to have their names be brought up in the same breath as the players scoring the touchdowns and hitting the home runs. It is a concept that started in the 20s, most notably with Wrigley Field in Chicago, and then in the 80s, a boom in those naming rights started to emerge. George Perry, a term instructor at George Mason University's Business School and a 22-year veteran of the sports marketing field, says there was a different incentive back then to get a stadium naming rights deal done.
I think initially in the 80s, there were the main reason was to do it was for brand exposure. A lot of times it was done for local community, to show the community that you care about the community, right? You got to remember, there wasn't as much money in sports in venues as there was now. So in some areas, the arena deals, the naming rights deals, were literally a way to help pay to put a field on the team, put a team on the field, or at least a good team on the field. So there was some sense of kind of civic pride if you sponsored the local, or if you named the local stadium, and that kind of got you in with the community.
Stadium naming rights now have evolved, especially when it comes to the money involved. In November, Staples Center, home to the Los Angeles Lakers, sold their naming rights to Crypto.com for $700 million, a nearly $600 million increase from when the arena was sold to Staples in 1999. John Stainer, managing director of Nielsen Sports, says the name change will see immediate results for Crypto.com during its introduction on Christmas Day.
Crypto.com is, it's not only going to benefit from a bumper crowd and an excited, energetic crowd at the arena on Christmas Day, but we'd expect an estimated 10 million plus viewers being reached through that broadcast and consuming at least kind of like 6 minutes of coverage of that broadcast. So yeah, this is a big deal for Crypto.com, both locally, nationally, and globally.
Partnering with a brand like the Lakers is truly a partnership that will have the world's eye. Nielsen Sports estimates that there are 100 million Lakers fans worldwide, 15 million being in America, and that popularity has already reaped the benefits as far as exposure. According to Nielsen Sports, over 1 week in November, there are 3,300 articles referring to Crypto.com, which reached 371 million impressions, equating to $4 million in discounted media. According to Stainer, naming rights with this amount of exposure helps brands reach new and existing customers.
They're super important in bringing like new investment and infrastructure and technology to aid fan engagement for the modern day consumer. Who want a more immersed and connected experience whilst they're at the game, and I think it really helps actually the fans, connect with the brands.
These rights can do more than just connect companies with fans. Jason Miller, who is the Senior Vice President and Management Head of Property Sales at Excel Sports Management, helped negotiate a deal between Q2 and Austin FC for their stadium naming rights. Miller says these deals can go beyond having a D2C or B2B impact.
The amount of people that are watching an Austin FC match, attending a concert at that building, such a small percentage. Sometimes there may be nobody at that building that can actually transact with Q2. So for them, it was the brand awareness, but it was brand awareness more to their employees in that market. to impact the community in that market, to recruit and retain in a highly competitive market that is Austin, where you have, every company in the world setting up shop there.
It's avenues like these that have changed stadium naming rights forever and has made it a multi-million-dollar business. A business that must serve fans and brands from all fronts.
These sponsorships have evolved. They're no longer about, hey, pay me money, we'll put your name on the building and give you a few other things. This is about how do we turn this into a strategic win-win partnership between both parties. And if it's done right, both parties can benefit. If it's done wrong, that could cause troubles for one party or the other.
It's critical that any brand that's thinking about doing a naming rights deal that wants to engage with the entire fan base and team ecosystem, figure out ways to reach the at-home viewer. So no matter what, no matter how good the at-home experience gets, you are going to need to have ways to engage with them.
The future of stadium naming rights has never been brighter. The avenues brands can utilize to capitalize on exposure is growing as the market is continuing to evolve. And who knows, in 20 years, this whole experience could be completely different. For more stories like this, be sure to head to marketscale.com as well as subscribe. I'm Justin Honore. Thank you for watching.